What is a sexual question you have always wanted to ask, but never had the right opportunity? Are there any other women out there who don't really feel anything internally? Like I feel like my vagina has no nerve endings and certainly no G-spot. Am I alone here? Internally definitely doesn't have a lot to offer me during sex. I've tried playing with my spot while doing it, but I find it doesn't do much, especially compared to a clit. Sometimes penetration can be nice addition to clitoral stimulation, almost like nipple play or kissing my neck, but it doesn't do much on its own. My long-term GF is the exact same. Any tips for getting busy, outside of just clitoral and foreplay? Don't be afraid to use toys in the bedroom. For me, penetration feels nice, but it's only ever almost gotten me there once. I use a small bullet vibrator. Some positions aren't great for using it, but my fiance and I have enjoyed finding positions that feel great and allow for use of the vibrator. How does it feel for a guy to come? It's a slow build up of an amazing sensation that comes to a very quick end with a feeling of pushing out the last bit of pee after holding it for a long time. Then the pleasure feeling usually ends, unless your partner is doing extra work. Also, during this build up, you lose all sense of what is right or wrong civilly, and only afterwards do you really say, did I just jack off to that, if it wasn't the best. Post-nut clarity. How do you know, as a girl, if you just really like being around/admire certain other girls, or if you're crushing on them? If I look at them and my pussy throbs, that's how I know. I will be thinking of this the next time a girl looks at me. I will be hoping for this the next time a girl looks at me. I will be wishing a girl looks at me. Is the talk a normal thing for kids to get from their parents while you're growing up? I never had that, other than the sex ed in school, which wasn't anything more than an anatomy lesson, and it would have made things a lot less confusing. I was raised in a very religious home too, so the stigma around sex kept me from ever wanting to think about it. Eventually I just googled my questions and figured it out, but that caused me a lot of shame and fear. Edit. Thank you to everyone who is sharing their experiences. My mom sat me down and tried to talk for about 5 minutes before getting flustered and buying me a book. It was like a teenager's guide to sexuality. It was actually great because I got lots of good information. I remember years after that I was in high school and a kid who was in the smart classes randomly asked how a bone grows instantly in a boner, and I was so shocked that he didn't know how it actually worked. So I gave a very precise description of what happens and sounded really smart lol. I gotta ask, cause I always see it in movies and stuff, do guys really like sniffing girls' underwear? And why? I sniff my underwear to make sure it's clean. Me too. You've been washing up real good lately. Is it true that it's dangerous to have sex in a pool? And while we are on the subject of water, does anyone actually enjoy shower sex? Because that is the most impossibly awkward thing I have ever attempted. Shower sex is pretty awkward, but I once had one of those old person shower bars that we could hold on to, and it worked well. Still the problem of the water washing away the natural lubrication, but it was basically just good foreplay. Yeah, I can see it being great foreplay, but full on sex was super difficult and not as hot as it looks in the movies, hahaha. What does a female orgasm feel like? Never had one. My libido has been dead for years. I've never had one from 6 and 4 years. I thought I wasn't missing out on much. Then I got a vibrator and holy shit, I was wrong. It's just incredible. It kind of feels like you're going to pee at first. At least that's what I thought with my first one. But then you just go with it and your vagina contracts over and over anywhere from 5 to 20 seconds or so. Kind of reminds me of when your heart thuds in your chest, except it feels good, haha, while the most pleasurable waves shoot throughout your entire body, even into the fingertips. Then afterwards I feel a pleasant tingling at the base of my skull/in my spine. I always thought girls moaning uncontrollably during orgasms in porn was fake for the camera, but no, it's real. It feels so good I can never keep quiet lol. I could have written this. I never ever used to masturbate, and I thought that most girls didn't. Then I got a clitoral stimulator, and orgasmed for the first time. I use it 3 to 4 times a week now and come over 10 times in an hour or so. Can balls actually retract inside the body? Depends on what you mean. Lots of people do it intentionally. Drag queens, for example, tuck their penises, which usually involves pushing your balls up into your pelvis and then taping your dick to your taint with either duct tape or packing tape. As far as unintentionally, it can, but it doesn't really happen super easily, and in either situation it doesn't really feel great. Or flex tape. How do people even find out what fetishes they are into? Like the cutting ones. I was watching an episode of Rainbow Bright when I was 7 years old, and one of the characters got kidnapped and stuck in a cage hanging from a tree. I had no idea what was happening, but I just had to watch it over and over. Looking back, every single movie or TV show I loved growing up had some kind of kidnapping scene. I'd watch and rewatch movies I didn't even like, just for the one scene. Didn't discover even the word bondage until middle school, but still knew I had the fetish. A fetish isn't something you can plan for, it comes unexpectedly. It's just as normal to not have any as it is to have many. To this day I've watched porn videos that did it for me, and I had no idea going into it. Are you me? I don't know when mine started, but I remember playing with Barbies and always enacting kidnapping/gagging scenarios, and apparently I've known since I was 10 that I was into freaky shit. Why do guys feel exhausted after a blowjob like I just sucked his living soul out of him? It's a natural response, so the females can eat the male's head off without him trying to escape. Edit. Wow, thanks for the gold. I don't like how much sense this makes. Question for straight women, or gay guys, I guess too. I have a spinal injury, with an excellent recovery regarding mobility and function. But I have partial numbness in some toes, and reduced sensation in general around pelvic area. I have serious bouts of anorgasmia, sometimes 2+ months without being able to finish. For clarity, no issue getting it up and performing during sex, just can't finish. I've come out of a long-term relationship where my GF was very understanding. Since then I have been with a couple of women and broached the topic before sex that I might not finish, and didn't. One was fine with it, but the other took it personally that I wasn't attracted to her, or she was bad in bed. If a guy was to bring this up with you, would you have any idea what would be the best way to bring it up and create some understanding that it isn't your fault? I'm having a great time. The fear of offending/upsetting some else hurts my confidence to initiate. Tell them like you explained here, you literally have spinal damage, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. If a woman can't handle that explanation, they might not be mature enough tbh. But if my partner had that issue, I would still feel bad about it, and try my hardest to make you feel good in other ways, and he'd probably feel guilty about wanting to get off, even if he couldn't. Are circle jerks really a thing? I have always wanted to know. A guy I knew in college supposedly did a literal circle jerk with his baseball team in high school. I feel like that's not something you lie about. How does that come up in conversation? Haha, that reminds me of the one time in high school when me and the old baseball team got together in a circle and beat off together. Why do some people moan and some people just tremble? This is one of those everyone is different kind of things. Also, some people are quiet on their own, but loud with a partner. When I'm on my own, I hardly make any noise at all besides heavier breathing, but when I'm with my husband, I just let out whatever feels right. He, on the other hand, really doesn't make noise either way, which seems to be common for men, from what I've heard. Women, if you stick cold things, like if you put a toy in the freezer, inside of yourself, does it feel good on a hot day, or is it uncomfortable? I'd imagine it's uncomfortable, but getting cooled from the inside also seems nice. Tried it once. Cold to the point of painful. Take an ice cube and hold it against your gum line. That's about how fun it was. I've only kissed a fair amount of times in my life, but not enough that I have a solid frame of reference as to what makes a good kiss and what makes a bad kiss. So, what would y'all say makes a good kiss/good kisser? Keep your tongue soft and don't just jam it in their mouth. Not too much saliva. I have no idea how to explain this GBH. I think the main thing is somebody who is responsive to their partner's reactions and does like those little things touching their hair, their arm, pulling away to kiss their neck, etc. Chemistry, I think, is the biggest thing. When you'll just click, that shit is bomb. Yes to keeping your tongue soft. There is nothing worse than a hardened tongue trying to poke its little tongue head inside your mouth hole. Kissing should be like dancing, not wrestling. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.